Hey there, fourth grade. This is Mr. Campbell. We are going to be working on lesson 3.7 today, which is choose a strategy to multiply. So go ahead and grab your math book right now with me. We're going to be starting on page 105. And for this today, we are going to be saying, I can choose an appropriate strategy to multiply. And that's what we've been working on this whole chapter. We've talked about area model. We've talked about partial products. We talked about the standard algorithm of just multiplying the numbers alone. Today, you are going to get a chance and an opportunity to multiply whichever way you feel most comfortable. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to walk through examples of each of those different types and then turn you loose, and you will get to go ahead and choose which one you'd like to do most. So I hope you're able to get to 105. We're actually going to skip page 106 and go straight over to 107 to get started today. So turn with me to 107. All right, here we are on 107, and I'm going to go ahead and get started just up at the top. We're going to do these four problems together, and then the rest of the independent practice, you'll be able to choose on your own which strategies you want to use. All right. Now, whenever we're doing something, especially if it's a test, the best thing you can do is show your work. So we've used a lot of whiteboards this week to be able to do our different problems. But on a test, and when we're showing what we know, the best thing for us to do is to make sure we show as much work as possible. And because of that, that means we don't always use our whiteboard because the teacher can't see what we were doing. And there's some questions we can actually get partial credit, get some points if we just show our work. And so I'm going to go ahead and for today, I'm going to use a piece of paper. So I'm going to use some scratch paper, not my whiteboard, as we choose these different ones. So we're going to start with number 2 here. All right. And for number 2, I'm going to go ahead and start off with partial products. All right. Partial products. And for partial product, what that means is I take each of the place values and break them apart to multiply them by our number down here. So that means I'm going to take 70 times 6 because there's a 7 in my tens place. So I'm going to do 70 times 6. And then I'm also going to do 4 times 6. All right. Those are my two different ones that I'm going to solve. So starting here, well, I see I've got 7 times 6. All right. 7 times 6 is 42, but I'm not done there because there was this extra 0 to start with, right? And so I've got to make sure that shows up here in my work as well. So my 76s is 420. Now I go to my ones place. I've got 4 times 6. All right, 4 times 6 is going to be 24, which means I need a 4 in the ones place and a 2 in my tens place. Now that I've done all that, I can add it up. 0 plus 4 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. And then 4 plus 0 is 4. So 74 times 6 is 444. And just like that, I've shown my work on here. And so if this was a test, I might ask my teacher if they want me to rip this out of my notebook and turn it in with it just so they can see my work, or maybe I just won't. All right, let's go ahead and check out number 3 here, right? Number 3, we've got 819. And I'm going to slide this up to give myself some new space. I've got 819 times 5. Now we're going to do the area model for this one. And for an area model, I'm going to go ahead and start off by drawing my rectangle. All right. And then I'm going to take my larger number and break it into each of its place values. So starting with my ones place, I've got 9. All right, going over to my tens place, I've got a 1 in the tens place, which means that that is a 10. And then I've got an 8 in my hundreds place, so that is 800. And I'm timesing all of this by 5. All right. And so if you remember this model, that means that I'm going to take 5 times 800, 5 times 10, and then 5 times 9. All right. Underneath here, I'm going to go ahead and start putting this together. And just like before, when we did our partial products, what I like to do is I like to start lining up my place values right away so I don't have to redo any work. So I'll start with my largest place value here. I've got 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, right? But then I can't forget about these 2 extra zeros here. So 1, 2. Even though 40 had its own 0, I needed 2 more. All right. Now I can come over here. 5 times 1. Well, 5 times 1 is 1, but can't forget that extra 0 there. So 0. All right. And then 5. 50 would be my answer. 5 times 10 equals 50. My next one, I've got 5 times 9. All right. 5 times 9 is 45. There's no extra zeros. So I've got 45. Now I can add these together and it will give me my answer. 0 plus 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 5 plus 4 is 9. 0 plus zeros is 0. 4 plus zeros is 4. So my answer is 4,095. All right. I'm going to go ahead and write that in next. 4,095. All right. My next one here, I've got 4 times 309. 4 times 309. I'm going to do my standard algorithm, which means I need to start with my largest number up on top. I'm going to slide this up just a little more to give myself some room. I'm going to draw just a line here so we don't get confused. All right. So I'm going to start with my larger number, which is 309. All right. There's my 309. And I'm going to times that by 4. And I put that in the ones place. Now I'm just going to go through place value by place value. So 4 times 9 is 36. So my 6 is going to stay here. And if you remember, we have to do our plus 3. I'm not multiplying by 3. I'm going to do my multiplication problem and then add that afterwards. So 4 times 0 is 0, plus 3 more is just 3, right? 0 plus 3 is 3. Now I have 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12, which means my 2 will go down here. My 1 creates a new place value. 4 times, there's nothing in this place value, so it's a 0. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 more is 1. And so my answer here is 1,236. So 1,236. All right. I'm going to ask you to solve number 5 on your own right now. All right, pause the video, solve this one. I'm going to just do one of the strategies. You can choose whichever one, and then you'll go ahead and check your work in just a moment. So any strategy you want for number 5, 3 times 354, pause your video now. All right, I hope you had a chance to pause the video and go ahead and solve these. I'm going to go through all 3 of ours really quickly. I've already set them up for us, so we're going to go through kind of quick as we solve these different parts. So first up, I've got 3 times 3 is 9, and then I got to put those 2 zeros behind it. This is partial products, all right? So 900. 3 times 5 is 15 plus that 1 0, so 0, and then I'm going to put my 15. 3 times 4 is 12, and there's no extra zeros. Now I can add these up. 0 plus 0 is plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 5 plus 1 is 6. 9 plus 1 is 10. So I regroup that over. So my answer is 1,062. All right, next up. So we've got our area model. All right, this time I'm not going to write out each one. I'm just going to solve it. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then I've got my 2 zeros. 3 times 5 is 15. And then my 1 extra 0. 3 times 4 is 12. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and go my ones place. I've got 2, 0, and 0. So that's a 2. In my tens place, I've got 1, 5, and 0. So that's a 6. And then in my hundreds place, I've got 0, 1, and 9. That is 10. So my answer is 1,062. And my last one is my standard algorithm. All right, my standard algorithm for number 5. I'm going to start here and go up. So 3 times 4 is 12. So I'm going to regroup over and put my plus 1. Don't forget that plus sign. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. All right, plus 1 over here. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 1 more is 10. 1,062. All of these got us to the same answer, even though they're all a little bit different. So our final answer here is 1,062. All right. When we get down here to the bottom, you are welcome to solve these however you'd like. Whichever strategy works best for you, you can go ahead and use those different ones. We just want to see you practicing and trying out those different strategies we've been learning about all throughout topic 3. Thanks so much for working hard with me. You guys have done a great job this topic. I will see you in the next one. Have a great rest of the day, 4th grade.